Good morning. Good morning, our dear participants. I hope you can all hear me. I hope you can all hear me. You're welcome to our webinar today. Today we shall be having our webinar on marketing for exports. So you're all very welcome. We thank you for taking the time off your busy schedules to be with us and attend this webinar. As I have earlier mentioned, as part of Uganda Export Promotion Board activities, we carry out a series of training to prepare exporters and to improve their performance, export performance. This is the third week of training, and we have been training on 8 key areas that you have responded to in the export readiness assessment. Today's training, like I've mentioned, is marketing for exports. And tomorrow we shall be having a training on digital marketing. This is the last training for this month. We hope to have more trainings in the next quarter. We started these trainings in September 2020, and we have gone through a number of areas that affect the export process. I am Brenda Katarikawe Opus. I am the Senior Export Marketing Executive for Products and Services, and I'll be moderating the session. Our program will run for the next about 4 hours, and we hope to be done by 1 p.m. We shall start with introductions so that we know who is with us today. We shall also have opening remarks from our Executive Director. Then this will be followed by 4 presentations from the key resource persons for the day. We shall also have a Q&A session where we will have all your questions responded to. Please note that we encourage that you type in your questions in the Q&A, and for any other information, use the chat in case you want to introduce yourself or tell us more about your company and so on. Please use the chat section. Our resource persons for the day include Eli Twineo, the Executive Director of Uganda Export Promotion Board; Samuel Kawalia, he's a Trade Information Executive of Services; Sam Karuhanga, who is the executive, he's the Export Marketing Executive, and he handles products. And then I'll also handle a presentation today. So like our program states, we shall start with introductions, and our introduction should run for 20 minutes. And then we shall be having the Executive Director to give us opening remarks. So I will now go into introductions. I can see we are already having a number of participants. I hope you don't have any issues. We had a few people who had issues to get in, but I hope you are all on board now. So we'll start with introductions, and then we shall go into the rest of the program. The way we'll handle our introductions, like we've been handling previously, we shall have a participant say their name, the company, the product they're exporting or they are planning to export, and then your expectations in this training. So we shall now start with Caroline. I'll ask Caroline to unmute herself and be able to introduce herself. Caroline, you're welcome.
Thank you, Brenda. Good morning, everybody. My name is Caroline Areto. I work with Celabrand Limited, and we export cloth to Norway. and I also expect to learn more through this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. You're welcome. We can now go to Bernard. Mpora. Mpora, please unmute and introduce yourself. Mpora, are you there? Can you unmute and introduce yourself, please? Okay. Simon, I can see you're putting up your hand. Please introduce yourself. Simon, you can unmute and introduce yourself. Okay, Simon doesn't seem to be with us. All right, now I'll ask Robert. Robert Musazi, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, yes, good morning. My name is Robert Masazi, and I represent Myla Group of Companies. Actually, we run a business called Food Premium Foods and Beverages Limited. We basically export and import cocoa from Eastern Congo, and we supply to various buyers here in Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Can we have Colin Jolie? Colin, are you with us? Please unmute and introduce yourself.
Mute yourself. Yes, good morning, everyone. Hello.
Good morning, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm Colin Jolie from Japotech Solutions. We deal in ICT services. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Jolie. Next, I'll have Dennis. Attendant Dennis, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Yeah, good morning, members. My name is Dennis Katende from Straightforward Limited. We deal in fresh fruits and vegetables. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Next, we shall have somebody who logged in as Galaxy J1. Galaxy J1.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Richard. This is Richardson Sechtoreko from Ready Market Services. Yeah, we tend to export fresh fruits and vegetables, mainly North and South America and some parts of Europe. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Richard. Next, we shall have Joyce. Joyce Nsubuga. Kindly unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joyce Nalika Nsubuga for Fresh
Joyce,
Hubs
a little
Uganda
louder.
Limited.
You're too low.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joyce Nsubuga Nalika for Fresh Hubs Uganda Limited, exporting fruits and vegetables. Thank you.
You're welcome, Joyce. And we have Godfrey. Godfrey Kasaja.
Yes, I'm Godfrey Kasaja from Casa Fresh Foods. We do export of fruits and vegetables. It's nice to be here in today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Next, we have Junior. Junior, kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Junior, please go ahead.
Wandinda from Wapa Group Holdings Limited. Export fruits and vegetables. That we
Okay, thank you, Junior. Although you are very low, we could hardly hear you. Okay, next is Kalpish. Kalpish. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Kalpesh. I'm export manager in Mukwano Industry, handling East and West Africa. We are dealing into the consumer products, soap, oil, detergent, and plastics.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have Lucy. Lucy, please unmute and introduce yourself.
Morning to you all.
Good morning, Lucy.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
I'm called Lucy Namubiru. Founder and Managing Director of Lunas Enterprises Uganda Limited. We make sweaters. We are the best knitters of sweaters in East Africa. So I have joined this meeting because I would like Export Promotion Board to help me to export my sweaters in East Africa, and to other countries like European countries. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome, Lucy. Rebecca, you're on. Can you?
Good morning.
Introduce yourself. Yes, please.
I'm called Rebecca Tasumbala. I'm from Crafts Above. I deal in handcrafts along Buganda Road.
You're very welcome, Rebecca. Okay, next I'll have Teddy. Teddy, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Teddy Nalugu, and I am the director for Victors of Our Lady. We plan to export fruits and vegetables, coffee and vanilla. So this is my first time to the meeting, and I'm happy to be a part of it and to learn. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Teddy. You've missed quite a lot, but I hope you will catch up and attend other trainings. Thank you for being part of us. Ivan, please unmute and introduce yourself. Ivan, are you there? Ivan, kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Okay, we don't seem to have Ivan. Can we have Lydia? Lydia, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lydia Nakaenza Schubert. I am the founder and manager of Unga Planta Uganda Limited. We process shea butter and moringa oil for the local market and also for export. And we're looking to do more underutilized Ugandan oil products for the export, for the market generally. Yeah, I'm excited to learn more today about export marketing, particularly for exports. Thank you.
You're welcome very much, Lydia. Thank you. Next, I will have Kakoza. Mike Dad, are you there? Kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Okay, I don't seem to have him. Somebody who got in with, who signed in as Techno Spark. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hello, this is Simon from Uganda. I act as an account executive, Ready Market Services. And I'm willing to know whether I can easily get a market for cow ghee, because I'm looking forward to start that business, and I'm looking forward to see how best I can do that business in exporting cow ghee from Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Next, I will have Edson. Edson Mutunji. Kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Edson, are you there?
Hello?
Hello,
Brenda.
Edson. Yes, please. I can
Hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, we can.
I greet you all in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm Motunji Edson, the Director and CEO of River Love Group. We are to export fruits and vegetables and fish, and also in people's business. We take performing artists from different parts of the world, but mostly in China. Although now we are just held by the international rules for corona issues. Yeah.
You said you take performing artists? Sorry, I didn't hear that properly.
Performing artists,
Uh-huh.
as in dancers, acrobatics, and models.
Ah, okay. And you take them to different countries?
Possibly it is, we've been taking them to China, but now we are also going to advance to Greece, even Turkey sort of, although Turkey there is a lot of restriction with the papers. We are always pushed to do them in Rwanda, so that's the problem. And we've been failing the market here due to the Ministry of Internal Affairs with the clearance of papers to Turkey. But for China, it's improper. For now, we just held by Corona.
Thank you very much, Edson. Would like to know more about your business. Our services desk, export of services, will be interested to hear more from you.
Okay, mate.
So next, let me see who we're having next. Sorry about that. Okay, next I'll have Naomi. Kindly unmute and introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Naomi.
My name is Naomi. I work for a company called Nugget. I'm in Nairobi right now, but we do have a branch in Kampala, Uganda, which I'm supporting. We are currently pursuing the export market, fruit and vegetables, and I'm glad to be with you today. Thank you.
You're welcome, Naomi. We have Juliet. Juliet, can you unmute and introduce yourself, please?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Juliet.
I'm Nabagatila Juliet from Chirant. We are exporters of fresh fruits and vegetables.
You're welcome, Juliet. We have Pascal. Kindly unmute and introduce yourself. Pascal, please unmute and introduce yourself. Okay, we don't seem to be having Pascal. Can we have Rabogo? Please unmute and introduce yourself.
Morning, listeners. I'm called Singer Rabogo with Kwano Industries. And, we do a lot of exports of all our products in the region and in Europe. With manufacturing of sunflower oil, soap, all household plastics, and seed meal. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rabogo. We have one more person. Can we have Senoga? Senoga, kindly unmute and introduce yourself.
So, yes, good morning. My name is Senoga Livingston Paul, and I work with a company called Pied Tropics. We are horticultural products exporters to the EU.
You're very welcome, Senoga. Okay, I think we are done with introductions. I can see somebody has put up their hand. Somebody who logged in as Techno. You have something to say? Okay, maybe that was accidental. Okay, I think we are done with our rounds of introductions, ladies and gentlemen. And we are now getting straight into our program. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, now to welcome Executive Director, Uganda Export Promotion Board, Mr. Eli Tuineyo, to give us the opening remarks. You're very welcome, sir.
I hope you can hear me. Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Can
we
you?
can hear you, Edie. You're welcome.
Yeah, morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this meeting. We have held a series of activities or events which are aimed at building the capacity of exporters and potential exporters. This has followed what we have been doing, what we call export readiness assessment. We have held meetings, we have held assessment meetings with some of you and discussed the potential of your companies and organizations to export. But also we have held meetings with those who are already exporting, and we have found out that there are some capacity building needs that are required, and then we decided that we should organize them. We should prepare Ugandans to enter, not only to enter, but penetrate these markets. It is in that spirit that we are organizing these activities, which we have organized in a different sub-components. And we also thank you that you have been attending. I note for one that my friend Wabogo from Mukwano Group of Industries at least is attending. I cannot see the second, maybe he has attended more. We are saying that with or without COVID, we need to market our products. With or without COVID, we need to penetrate markets. The other day on Sunday, I listened to the president, and he was talking strongly about the importance of markets, saying that we have the capacity, we have produced, but also we have the capacity to produce. But do we have the markets? And most of you, including Wabogo, who know this issue of marketing, markets exist, but you have to penetrate them. It is not simply saying that we have the ESC block of markets. That language I don't even listen to. And even if they were serving wine, I would not sit to listen to them. You have markets, you have to penetrate them. Markets exist, but you have to penetrate them. We have markets within the region, ESC, COMESA, and Africa now. But Africa Free Continental Free Trade Area, but we also have markets in the United Arab Emirates. We have markets in the EU, excluding Britain now, and we have the market in UK. We also have market in China. We have markets in India and other places. Are we there? Have we penetrated them? And in the next 5 years of our campaign and work will be to penetrate target markets which have been identified by our ministry working with us, our Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, under what we call the NEDS, National Export Development Plan, NEDS, which was approved by Cabinet in 2017 and will go up to 2022. The same targets, the same markets, the same products, the same strategies have been brought into NDP3. NDP3 gives us a host of responsibilities, And I agree with Amos Wekesa last night, who was talking about my tourism sector, where Honorable Chiwanda Suri said they were merging and the Ngamba sanctuary, but they were leaving UTB because UTB is supposed to be doing marketing, specialized marketing. And then he said, I thank him again that Export Promotion Board is doing something, but he brought in another angle. He said UTB, and this applies to Uganda Export Promotion Board. Government should give money to Uganda Tourism Board and give them a target. We give you X dollars, you bring in Y dollars. And the same thing I'm saying, Uganda Export Promotion Board, let government give us X dollars, and then we agree on a target to bring in Y dollars. Marketing will remain important. I am happy that in the NDP3, government has identified the role of the state back into especially the role of marketing. And the president was saying, we need markets. We need markets in the ESC, COMESA. We need markets in the whole of Africa. We need markets beyond Africa. And so we think that we build capacity building. We undertake capacity building. We handhold exporters. And we are praying that COVID eventually lessens now that we have different medicines or drugs, and we will be happy to increase exports. I promise, and I tell you very well, that in the next 10 years, I don't look at 5 years. As an economist, I don't look at 5 years. That's a short time. But I think if we worked hard in the next 10 years, exports can contribute to around 40–50% of our total GDP. And you know, our total GDP now is around $45 trillion US, or around, give or take, $25 billion US. Let's work together. The private sector is the engine of growth, but you need government to undertake market studies, to do solar counter exhibitions, to do other promotions, to get information, because your role is to invest and penetrate markets. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor now to officially open this meeting, this event today. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Edie, for the opening remarks. Now, I wish to kindly also request that you get into the presentation. Our dear participants, Executive Director is also going to make a presentation today, and he will be handling how to find and retain buyers in the foreign market. That will be to do with export market research and market intelligence. Edie, you're welcome to make your presentation.
Yeah, so let me get my slide on the full screen. Morning once again, ladies and gentlemen, and today I hope are you seeing my slides?
Yes, Edie, I can see your slides. Kindly put on full
yeah,
full view.
Yeah, I'm trying to put a full screen. Yeah, it is. The screen is coming.
Okay.
Yes. The procurement people bought for me are not the screen. So, Brenda, when you have time, talk to the guys who gave me another computer.
I will, Edith. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Now
because,
we can see your
yeah,
present.
so you can see the screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we are talking about entering and penetrating markets. Last time we talked about opportunities, export opportunities, and also we talked about export performance, both at company level, but also at national level. And then we mentioned that exporting, especially in Uganda, is currently and majorly the work of the private sector, the work of companies. And as we say in international trade, companies do business, but countries trade. Because then countries look at trade statistics, but companies look at company performance. They look at export receipts, they look at volumes and quantities, and they look at their challenges and how to expand. So today, I will quickly talk about the marketing opportunities, but only to emphasize the importance of marketing research, the importance of marketing information systems, the importance of market research or surveys. There is marketing research, which is the whole process of undertaking activities of marketing research, but market research is just conducting surveys. You can call them export market research, you can call them market research. But also the importance of marketing intelligence, how to find buyers and retain them. And export marketing, is it export marketing or export promotion or promoting exports? Hold on, I have to go back. So we need to be able to identify export markets and high opportunity segments so that we can penetrate, we can go in and try and enter these markets, but we should not only try and enter them, we should keep in these markets. Because when we keep in these markets, then we will be happy, because as a government, then we will get export earnings, total exports. Then we do what we call trade balance, and the BOP balance of payments statistics will have improved. For us to do so, we need to understand consumer behavior and how a product serves them and how a product is positioned. To be able to do so again, to succeed, we need to identify the market entry strategies, but also produce exactly for those places. We need to be able to get insights into the competitors' strategies, operations, and weaknesses. Can we find out key success factors to win specific markets? Do we understand the culture of people in these markets? Do we understand the buying behaviors of people in these markets? Do we understand their PPP, purchasing power parity of these countries? If we don't, how do we think we'll enter them? So having said this in the background, then I want to talk about the importance then of undertaking research, marketing research. Marketing research is important because then you want to know your market. You want to know your customers. You want to know your buyers. You want to know your suppliers. You want to know what I've talked about, the behaviors in this market. You want to know the buying habits in this market. You want to know when they buy. You want to know how they buy. You want to know how much they buy. And you want to know why they don't buy certain products. or why they don't buy from certain people or certain companies. So you undertake marketing research, which is just a process of collecting information, the right information that you want to use. It is very systematic. But that is not enough. All you want to do is undertake a market study, which is the market research. It can be about a product, can be about a market. Sometimes we say market survey, which is the actual study. You need a very robust and good market information system, which we call MARKIS in marketing international business, which can be able to gather, sort, analyze, and evaluate your information so that it is useful for decision making. You don't undertake market studies, for example, for the sake of it. You want to get that report, and the information that is in there is important for decision making. Then after you have done this study, you say, do we go ahead and select this market? Is this market worthwhile, worth our money? Should we invest in this market? Can we target it? So you need information for policy making. And then there is what we call market intelligence. And market intelligence is, in summary, Wabogo of Mukwana Industries will tell you that on a daily basis, there are those bits and pieces of information that they collect on a daily basis from the market about the buyers, about the competitors, about the buying situation, about the buying conditions, about the changes in the buying environment, and about also the political and economic environment every day on a daily basis. And that information is important because it informs decision making. Once you combine it with a good market information system, then you are there and you'll succeed. And we continue telling you about market intelligence, but that is how I can summarize it. I don't want to go a lot in detail about it. You can always read about it. Mine is just to tease it out. But please remember that no research, whether detailed in-depth, whether it is a market scoping study, which is an exploratory market scoping study, most cases is the first study you undertake about a market. It is exploratory. It is not as quantitative, but it informs your preparation of an in-depth market survey. Whether you have a market scoping study or an in-depth survey, or just market intelligence you do every day is not good enough, and no research can be valid until it has been analyzed very well and the insights got out of those pieces of data and the information, and you use it for management to make informed decisions. That is all you need about it. And that, therefore, doing all this, and it takes money. You spend on a daily market intelligence, you spend on market studies, it takes money. And that money, you need it, you could have used it to produce more products, but again, you need markets. So if it takes money, you have to consider it cautiously because it should inform your management strategies. This screen shows you something big, and so this is showing you an array of a process of undertaking a marketing study, a marketing study and information analysis. It is just a screen which shows you how they all link together. your initial assessment of identifying a product that you want to promote. And then when you talk about markets, then what do you analyze about the markets? What is the attractiveness of the markets? Do you understand these markets? What are the characteristics? And I've already talked about some of these aspects. But also for you to do that, you have to do an internal assessment of your organization and look at your strengths and weaknesses. What is your capacity? Management. What is management orientation? Are they outward looking? Do they think that international marketing is important and exporting particularly? In which market? But do you have financial resources? What is the product? What is production and productivity? What are the quality levels? What are your commercial practices? Other things. And then, have we formulated then, are you looking at formulating a very good strategy? For you to formulate any strategy in marketing, and it has never changed. It will change when I quit marketing and become more of an economist only. The P's, your value proposition will be based on the P's, on the product, or it can be services, some of you are exporting services, on the price, on the promotion, on the distribution. Never forget the interest methods. And all this will be underpinned by market intelligence, and it will also underpin your export market development efforts. Yes, and I have already said that gathering market intelligence is an ongoing process, but also we say today's market dynamics are changing every day. Some of you have been in marketing and some of you are entering it, especially export markets. Conditions are changing every day. And of course, these we have also the challenges of the governments. We have the challenges of the governments because the governments are also bringing in challenges. Sometimes they bring what we call non-tariff barriers or trade restrictions, which make it difficult for us. Sometimes they are right because maybe quality is an issue for us. Sometimes they are wrong because politics is playing their game. But you should know that in international business, especially international trade in export marketing, in promotion of exports, the P of government, which we never put in P of marketing, the P of politics, which we never put in our P's, plays a big role. There are no open markets. You have to negotiate markets. And you have to keep negotiating markets. You have to keep relevant in the market, but you have to keep the political relations. Even when you are a broker like ESC or COMESA, these challenges keep cropping up. Therefore, we need to keep gathering information to know what is happening because conditions are changing all the time. This is the research process. Again, you can find it in your document. The first process, if you are going to undertake any research, is define the research objective. Why do you want to undertake this research? What type of information do you need? How does it relate to export plans? What research needs to be done to find out the information? Exactly what do you want? The next stage is to choose the research methodology. Some of us who have been in research forever, methodology is so important. You have wrong methodology, you get wrong results. And you can do desk research, and you can search from different places. We have Google, different sources. You get information. You do your desk. You go to your library. You go a company. You go to your previous sales history. How have you been performing? Previous production history. How have you been performing? And this will inform your production, and then it will inform what you want to look for. What are you looking for? Have you produced a lot? And what type of research will help you? Do you want to do primary and that is enough? Do you want to begin with secondary, which is what we call secondary research, existing information? Sometimes existing information was never prepared for you. This sometimes is general information. And then you prepare a research plan. What do you want to prioritize? What are you looking at? And to chart your plans and give it timelines and put in money. And go in and collect the data and analyze it. And once you analyze it, we can look at it, draw conclusions. Findings and conclusions are the most important in any study because then we can make decisions. Please remember that you have to establish an ongoing system which should be systematic of getting information, getting data and analyzing it. Please never forget to estimate market size. If you are targeting any market, when you are targeting any market, then be careful that you know the market size. Be careful that the market has buyers of your products or services. Don't target a market that does not buy your products. Don't waste money. And therefore, you have to look at industry sales. You can go to trade associations. If you are members of WOMA, maybe you have something at Uganda Manufacturers Association. If you are members of the Grain Council, maybe you have something at Uganda Grain Council. If you are fish processors and exporters association, you have something that you prepare. If you have flowers, you have something that you fair, like that. Retail sales were available, and look at them. And you should be able to track data, and you can, some of it you can buy from existing companies that do so. Look at consumer expenditure in that country. You can obtain that data or data from national statistics bureaus. In Uganda's case, you can go to UBOS. In other countries, there are such offices. You should be able to know what is per capita consumption of certain products in those countries. And when do they buy is important. Consumer trends. Apparent consumption, subtracting exports from total imports is important. Continuing to be sure that you know what you want. First, to go inside your company, like I said. Look at inside your company before you go to your business associations, before you go to government agencies like Uganda Export Promotion Board, before you go to your consulates and embassies of your country and embassies of the country you are targeting in your target market. Again, like I said, national statistics offices like UBOS, trade magazines and newspapers, and others you can add. Some you know and I don't know. A research sample, kind of a research sample you want to do, and this is adapted from various sources. You want to export avocado. Avocado has become hot these days. So this is a sample research plan. Fresh avocado, target European market. What are the questions and topics? What are the sources? The deadlines of doing everything. Summary of your hypotheses. And once you have done that, you can go and enter the market and get what you want. This is not different from what I have said, but just to show you another way of what you should be looking at. At the end of the day, emphasis is that at each stage, you have to identify a product or group of products that you want to market, to sell, and identify those attractive markets and select them. Understand your targeting markets is important, but analyzing your weaknesses and strengths is also vital. And you formulate the market entry strategy Because how do you enter? Maybe you enter by using an agent. Maybe you go in that country and open up a warehouse from where you distribute, a distribution outlet that is yours. Maybe you do long range. You have buyers, foreign buyers, and you agree and send to them products. Of course, that is up to you to decide. You have at the end of the day to craft the operational model, how you're moving. Never forget the strategies of marketing, which are product and positioning strategies, pricing strategy, distribution strategies because of distribution channels, promotion strategies. How do people know about you? How do buyers, potential consumers know about your product in a target country? Never forget the entry method, entry approach, which I said you could be exporting directly to foreign buyers, but you could also open an office. Ladies and gentlemen, export-oriented firms need to scan the global and regional markets for product and market diversification opportunities. You need to make sure that you fit in this market. You need to have a feasible positioning strategy. You need to identify potential clients and sell to them because you want to make money. Understanding the market is important, and that is what we are talking about if you are going to keep in those markets. We can look at export marketing research, which you say is important, but we have said it is not enough if you do it, but you don't take decisions. If you do it and you don't do the right decisions, but also if you don't put in money. Production requires money, research requires money, penetration requires money. Penetrating the target markets is the ultimate price that you will pay, is the ultimate goal. When you have looked at the right product, the right price, the right promotion and distribution. Uganda Export Promotion Board is available for you, and we have been over time, our mandate has been realized. Over time, government has continued to support us more. Over time, stakeholders have realized that government needs an agency to promote exports. And at Uganda Export Promotion Board, we have decided that we will be undertaking export readiness assessment and later on undertake training and capacity building activities, including providing customized advisory services to the exporters. Exporters from time to time come here and we give them advice, but we are also promising that under new dispensation, under new approach, we will be opening 12 regional offices during this 5 year. And these will be trade information offices. We hope that each can have at least 3 staff to be able to service and serve people in different places. But we have also heard that the mergers are making us stronger and that we will be together with the agencies that provide a holistic approach to an investor. And an investor, for your information, is a domestic investor, an investor is a foreign investor, an investor is somebody who has put money in some enterprise and wants to promote a commodity or a service. So we have heard through rumors and grapevine that we will be stronger together, that we will be investment arms of investment agencies and export promotion agencies will be together and under the right Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives to be able to give you a better service, a one-stop service for an entire service that you want, from advising you on where to invest, advising you on how to support you, advising you on where to get markets and taking you to the markets and supporting you there. And like I said, NDP 3 brings back the role of the state. but also having listened to the president last Sunday, and when he talked about in his article, real economy versus the vulnerable economy, I have no doubt in my mind that the markets are going to be important. You need buyer-seller linkages, and Export Promotion Board will be doing that, and we have been doing that, and with success in our small way. We will be closely working with associations. When we say service associations, because they are product and service associations, but associations are actually service associations. They provide services to their members. We are now aggressively undertaking export care services. Where if you get challenges with your foreign buyer who has not paid you, but you are sure you provided the right products or services, let's get your documentation and we see how we help. We have been able to recover slightly above 1 billion Uganda shillings recently, and we think we will be continuing with this. Please, ladies and gentlemen, companies Video is off. Come on, Richard. Yeah, your internet is on still.
Sorry, Edie, we went off. Something went wrong with the internet.
Very Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Something just went wrong with the internet. We all seem to have gone off.
Yeah, I told you that you gave me a cheap computer. I need like a Macintosh, and so this HP I think is a weak one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was saying that maybe I have to go back a bit. I said we are involved in direct buyer-seller linkages, which is important for you. We are recently, like now coming to the third year, we started what we call buyer-seller linkages, direct buyer-seller linkages. We have already producers directed to exporters, but also we have linked exporters to foreign buyers and producers to foreign buyers, and we will continue doing this. In our small way, given the limited budgets, we have been able to do it. We'll work closely with the exporter and producer associations, which is important, so we can work together, because it is humanly impossible that we can reach everywhere. And I've also said we are planning over these 5 years to open 12 regional offices, so that we can have about 3 people in every regional office, which will be information offices. Originally, they had approved 6, but now we have in the pipeline 12. We think then we can reach you in different places. And we are undertaking export aftercare services. The export aftercare services are important. We have recovered around straight over 1 billion Uganda shillings. If you supply products to a foreign buyer and you have all the documentation and they don't pay, and you are sure you genuinely supplied, you can come and we have your papers, and we will undertake to see how we play that role as government, because we are supposed to coordinate all export-related activities. We have begun it and we will do it. The last one, I said lobby your parliament, because parliament is the one institution that appropriates money. But because then lobby them, you have members of parliament, you voted them, tell them the importance of government in marketing exports, in undertaking export market researches, in undertaking specialized trade fairs, in organizing expositions and expos, in hand-holding small exporters, in showing you direction, in giving you trade information, in signing for you recommendation letters. Please be our ambassadors. Tell your members of parliament to give money to Export Promotion Board and also Uganda Tourism Board, because we are the two specialized marketing agencies. And those who can reach Wekesa should tell him thank you very much for the support he gave us last night on UNBS. As we say in Uganda, because we need to have enough resources to support you. We have found a problem that the government economists at the Ministry of Finance have failed to appreciate export promotion and export development and promotions. Who can help? Again, maybe Parliament, but who can help? Some of these are your brothers and sisters in finance. Tell them that they need to undertake some courses in marketing Uganda, some courses in the marketing of exports, some courses in marketing their economy. It is not enough that we pay debt. It is not enough that we build roads. It is not enough that we have electricity. It is not enough that we produce a lot without markets. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me. And yeah, continue with your meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edie, for the good insight you've given our participants. Edie spoke about export research and export marketing intelligence in depth, and he gave us very good details. We shall share with you the presentation for you to unpack and be able to use the detail of what he gave us in his presentation. Edie, I don't know how long you're with us. Would you want to take a question or two before you go? Are you with us throughout the session? Sorry, you're muted. We can't hear you.
I can take a few 3 questions and then go to Parliament to defend the organization. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have you heard me?
Yes, we have heard. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll just go. There's only one question that we have in the Q&A, and Lydia is asking, does UEPB do pre-export care, advisory services on setting up sales contacts, for instance, and insurance of transactions to avoid financial losses? That is a question that we have in the Q&A. I'll quickly go through what we have in the chat. In the chat, okay, we don't have any questions in there, although I can see some people are with you and are trying to get you a laptop from your earlier comments. I can see someone says, yes, we can hear you, Edie. Edie should be given a new computer, latest model. Someone is saying, or an iPhone.
They are now talking.
Dennis is saying, someone is asking at Dennis, as an exporter, you could do this as a souvenir. So I hope that will come through for you. So you can go ahead. We don't have any other questions. Okay. Sorry, just one more.
Okay.
Yes. Does UEPB issue export licenses? That's from Timothy.
Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so let me start with the one really who has informed the blender and the procurement that I need a better computer so that market information is so important, so I can store a lot of market information, including promotional materials, including high-level resolution pictures and DVDs and all this, and screencasts and YouTube presence. So we need a good one. The issue of insurance, we are working with the government, and the government agreed and they are working on it. Bank of Uganda and with the Uganda Development Bank and others, and Ministry of Finance, in line with the National Export Development Strategy (NEDS), which was approved in 2017, that there should be an export guarantee scheme. As a matter of fact, when we had a meeting with the permanent secretary to the Treasury of the Ministry of Finance, with the members of the manufacturers, with UMA members, which was high-level delegation, they raised that issue. They had already raised that issue when they had written to the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga about the need for export insurance and export guarantee scheme. We will, and Brenda and Astea will write it down so that we pursue it and we keep pushing it and we see the progress. The issue of sales contacts, the issue of sales contact, actually, Uganda Export Promotion Board for the last 2 years or so now. I know it should be 3 years, but normally I'm not happy about the year of COVID. Normally, when I'm counting, I count as if this is the year that never happened, but include that year as well. For more than 3 years now, we are subscribing to information. Those international companies that get information, they are consultants, they have ways of getting information. So they get us buyers, they get us tenders. And every quarter, I think now we are able to supply about 80 of such deals. We put it on our website. We also put it on our notes board, but also our staff, Noreen Barbara Kamoto, normally distributes it. So yes, we give you a contact for potential sales buyer information. Now, we don't issue export license. The government of Uganda in the early 1990s undertook what we call economic and trade liberalization, what we call opening up in international trade. And we found out that the trade license was regarded as a trade hindrance, was a trade barrier, discouraged trade. So they removed it. In addition to removing it, they said they introduced what we call export zero-rated exports, that exports are zero-rated, that you don't even pay taxes when you're exporting, they are zero-rated. Once you prove that you exported these goods, you are not taxed. We only tax imports. And it was also in line with the aspect of liberalizing trade. So with export, you trade. What I can tell you, if you are producing certain products or selling certain products, like food products, like fresh fruits and vegetables, Ministry of Agriculture will issue a certificate called Sanitary and Phytosanitary Certificate, which is a movement certificate that accompanies your exports, because it is a requirement in the buying countries to show that these goods are fit for use. And again, if you are going to export minerals, then we require that you go to the ministry responsible for minerals for required certification. But otherwise, you don't need a trade license. Ladies and gentlemen, I think those were the questions, and thank you. Bye-bye.
ED. We have a few more questions that have come through while you are speaking. Can you take one or two of them?
Okay.
Okay. Someone is asking, is there a way UEPB can work with Chamber of Commerce? Because in most countries, we are asked for papers from Chamber, and they will not recognize UEPB. Or maybe things have changed since COVID. The other one is asking, please, I need guidance on a warehouse for fruits and vegetables plus fish. And then finally, somebody is asking, are there strategies by UEPB to tap into informal sector that contributes over 68% of Uganda's total production to engage in exportation? So those are the three questions, Edie.
Again, for informal sector, what are you saying?
Okay. Are there strategies by UEPB to tap into informal sector that contributes over 68% of Uganda's total production to engage in exports?
Okay. Thank you, those contributors. First, let me say that the Chamber of Commerce, Uganda National Chamber of Commerce, we are working together. As a matter of fact, one of our board members must come from the Chamber of Commerce. One of our board members is from the Chamber of Commerce. And going forward with this arrangement of going to open regional offices, we realize that the Chamber has got regional offices, has got branches in different districts, and we'll be working with them. We realize also Uganda Chamber of Commerce over time has had challenges. One of them has been the turnover at the top management level. The next day we go, we talk with John, who is the Secretary General. Another day when we come, find that one has left. So the turnover has been big at the top management, and which would be not a good indicator, but we will work with them, and we think, again, they can learn from how we have managed, but we want to work with them because the Chamber of Commerce is a private sector organization. We will work with them. We are working with UMA. UMA also, as a matter of fact, we must get a board member from UMA. So I'm saying UMA is also a member. National Farmers Federation is a member also, a board member, so they are our bosses. So we are working with previous board. The Green Council was our board member. Previously we had Fish, our board member. Sujar Goswami was our board member. So yeah, we want to strengthen the private sector because you guys, the private sector, you are the ones who do business. A pack house for fruits and vegetables is a warehouse for fruits and vegetables is a as I talk now, my staff are in the field visiting a number of pack houses. We want to visit pack houses we are doing it with Ministry of Agriculture, with UNBS, with Ministry of Trade. We want to understand, to look at them and give some advice. We want pack houses to be doing the right job because we realize that some of the pack houses are hosting more than 3 companies, and we want them to do a good job because we have found out that most of the small SMEs exporters cannot afford a pack house, but they can work with another existing pack house to do a good job. That information is available with our secretariat, and they can tell you if you want to begin exporting fruits and vegetables, they can tell you which pack house still has spaces where you can work from. Strategies by UEPB for the informal sector, which produces over 68% of our total production. Our effort is to work to ensure that, I told you at the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, these countries' economists have been engaged in addressing the 5 priorities, and they were right. They were right. I'll say, however, later on. They are right that we need roads. Without roads, our products cannot reach markets. They are right, we need electricity because without enough electricity, we cannot produce manufacture the products and a lot, but also we can generate homes. They were right because health comes first. We needed to have people who are alive. If you are not alive, you cannot contribute to production. They were right because we need education. So they were right in all these aspects. Our priorities, they were right because we need to be secured as a country. We need security, we need defense, because without it, countries have been very vulnerable, but also they need to be right because we need markets. And the president said it, I listened to him on Sunday, said we have now produced a lot of products and we have the capacity to produce more. Where are the markets? So this is the question all of you guys take to the members of parliament, take to your ministers, take to Minister of Finance. Where are the markets? I don't tell you take it to Minister of Trade because the Minister of Trade, our ministry, has made all the necessary noise, has made all the necessary justification for promotion of trade, and they have not been supported. So I tell you, you go up there and tell them. Because we want to produce within a market environment. Uganda Export Promotion Board already started the year before COVID to move to different places, linking producers to buyers, so that we can get everyone in the market. Let me tell you, I always say it, and I've been saying it for the last 4 years. Anyone who has nothing to sell in the market, nothing, whether a commodity or a service, a slip of tongue, will perish in the long run. How are you going to survive? Will you depend on arms? Will you depend on begging as a household? How are you going to live without anything you sell in the market? And Uganda Export Promotion Board will popularize the marketing aspect of redeeming an economy. And in that, that's how we will capture the 68% who are producing there in the informal sector. We need to encourage even Korea Robotos to produce for the market. And I tell you, this campaign had begun, but COVID interrupted us, but we are going to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Edie. We fully appreciate your comments and your answers to those questions. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get Edie to answer any more questions, but whatever other information that we're receiving, we shall be sharing as we go along, because he has to leave us and go for other meetings. Thank you very much, Edie, and allow us to proceed now and have our next speaker speak to us, and that is Samuel Kawalia. Samuel Kawalia is Trade Information Executive at Uganda Export Promotion Board, and he will be speaking about service export marketing during the pandemic. So Samuel, you're very welcome. Please proceed with your presentation.
Good morning. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning, all participants.
Good morning, Samuel. Please be a little louder.
Yes, good morning. My name is Samuel Kawalia. I'm a Trade Information Executive at Uganda Export Promotion Board. And today I'm going to be taking you through the topic of services exports marketing during the pandemic. This is going to be the structure of the presentation. We are going to first understand services exports, services classification, models of delivery, constraints affecting services funds, roadmap to exporting services, use of service sector stakeholders, and techniques used to market services during this pandemic. I wish to note that though the presentation is so much on services exports, the products people that are attending this workshop have also catered for you, and every time you see a service, you can always substitute it with a product. First, let us start with services. Many people call service trade as invisible trade because we cannot touch or feel the services that we provide, unlike for products. So services constitute 2/3 of the world's economy and are the fastest growing components of world trade. They are core drivers for economic growth and employment and development in every part of the world.
Excuse me, Samuel, sorry. Are you going to put up your presentation? We can't see it.
Oh, sorry. 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 I think it's up now, right?
It is up, but okay. Now you're good. Please proceed.
Okay. So we can continue. Like I said, services are core drivers of economic growth, employment, and development in every part of the world. To be specific, in Uganda, services contributed 2.4 billion calendar year 2018 and 2.28 billion in calendar year 2019, all in US dollars. So you can see the magnitude of contribution that services do to the economy. Who is a service exporter? I had, before this presentation, I had a conversation with one of the participants here who was talking about the airport taxi drivers. Are they service exporters? So I think this explanation will answer that question very well. Companies or individuals become service exporters if they are paid for their services by someone from another country, regardless of where the service is provided or where the payment is made. So the airport taxi driver, if they are paid by a foreigner, then they become service exporters. So the tour guides are also service exporters. You can think of anything else as long as it falls into paid for service by someone from another country. Many exporters jump into potential markets too quickly and unprepared, and they fail. So it's important to always do the necessary preparatory work, or else you risk losing all your investment that you put in. This applies for product exporters. The GATT services sectoral classification, also known as the W1/120, gives these service classifications as seen here: business services, communication services, construction, distribution services, educational, financial services, and many others that you see here. And within these sections, there are several other services below them. So if we talk about business services, then there are several other services that are below business services that different people can offer. In Ugandan perspective, we can see that Ugandan services export earnings for the financial year 2019, we can see how the share was taken up. Remember, I said in 2019, we had a share of, we had 2.28 billion US dollars that we gained from service exports. So you can see how it was taken up by different services. We see travel, which can be tourism, government goods and services, transport, other business services, construction, financial services, telecommunications, and let us pay much attention to these ones that have very low figures. Those are potential service ventures that we can think of going into. Especially important to note that most of us that already do export of products, we can easily actually turn into service exporters if we use the information that we've gained from our product exports into those different markets. So there is already a big gap that we need to explore in the different service sectors in Uganda that we need to take up. Maybe something to note: the beauty about services for exports currently is that you can always get your money and nobody will question. So if you are seated on your PC and you get an offer to design from a foreign company to design maybe a web page, you'll be paid your money and nobody will question you. You will not put in transport costs, and it will be done conveniently in your office space or in your home. So like I said, you can see under business and professional services, several other services that can be offered. Under that section, accounting, advertising, and so many, you can see all the other sectors here. The modes of delivery of the services. First, you can do cross-border supply. That is services, only services cross the border. So what do I mean? You get a contract to do a web page for a company that is maybe in Kenya, and then you do the web page from here, and you do not move from Uganda to go to Kenya, and the services is provided. And then the second mode is consumption abroad. The consumer goes abroad. Here, this is where when the consumer has to travel to the other destination, say if the foreign tourists are coming here, that is consumption abroad, they have to come into the country to enjoy that service. Then commercial presence, this is where we set up offices in different countries as branches. And then movement of natural persons, this is where you temporarily move into a foreign country to offer a service. We've seen visiting lecturers, those are offering service export, but the real movement of natural persons. When we talk about marketing, we cannot forget to talk about the constraints that are affecting services firms. Like I said, we can now also look at it in this way of constraints affecting products firms. These will also apply for products firms, and our concentration is going to be on the marketing side. Look at so many constraints. There is actually a reason why on the other sections of the constraints, we do not see so many listed, and we see so many listed on the marketing side. This is because a business only exists for two things: win customers and marketing, and that is the sole reason. We only open up a business, or we start a business venture because we want to get customers. The only way to get customers is to market. So that is why we have the most of the constraints that we face are always on the marketing side. As we can see them here, we shall later on, as we go into the presentation, we shall later on learn on how this one we can try to make them to control these constraints that we have listed here. No worries. So let us start with this roadmap exporting your services. The first stage that we look at is preparing your business. Under preparing your business, we shall still see what we have under preparing your business. But the first stage is preparing your business. Second stage is conducting market research. And then the third step is developing a marketing strategy. And then the fourth stage is entering the market. So what do we mean by this? So under the first stage of preparing your business, we have understanding the trading service. If you are a product exporter, then we have to look at understanding the trade in a product that you want to export. You fully understand it, study it, and get the basics of that particular product or service that you want to export. Then assessing export readiness. Here we at Uganda Export Promotion Board, we have an export readiness program where we first introduce you to the export readiness checker, and then from what you provided to us as feedback, then we can try to see where you still have, so that we can now go on a company or individual basis to look at how we can fix those challenges that you're having. So it is prudent that before we actually even go into export of any service, it is prudent that you do an export readiness assessment. Then you have to develop your export plan. Then under the second stage is conducting market research, which ED has presented in the previous presentation. It's researching about the markets, researching about the state, gathering market intelligence. And here it's usually very expensive for individual firms to actually do this stage, and it is of great value if you use the trade support institutions like Uganda Export Promotion Board to help you understand a particular market and do that market research for you. We at Uganda Export Promotion Board, we are always ready to do those customized market research for different companies that wish to enter a particular market. Then the third step is developing a marketing strategy. Here you will start with a marketing plan, then developing an online strategy. And for services, unfortunately, there is no way you will run away from developing an online strategy, because the best way you can sell your product or market your product is through using the online channels. So you will definitely have to develop an online strategy. Then you will end up by winning business. The third step is entering the market. Entering the market will mean market entry options, looking at evaluating the different market entry options, or traveling to the market itself, and then financing the contract itself. So what do we look at in this stage? If you are a web developer, you are an apps developer, and you've gotten a contract, say you have a contract to do work in South Sudan. If you went through these 4 steps, you realize that the 4th stage, that it doesn't require you to actually travel to the market. You don't have to set up shop or an office in South Sudan for you to provide that services. If you clearly understand your service offering, then you realize that you can actually offer your service to this destination country or company without actually you traveling. In most cases, we have, while we were at university, our lecturer used to say that if a farm went for bidding and put up went and applied for a bid to do anything to do with IT, and that farm has a very big and nice office, then you would definitely, the lecturer said, you would definitely not go for that farm, because that farm has put so much resources in an office that they don't actually even need. So if you're an IT firm, why would you, a web developer, why would you concentrate so much into having a very big office, chairs? All that investment is going into the wrong direction. Instead, you can use that investment in something else. That is why we have places like the Innovation Village, where they are it's one space, and there are different offices for different innovators in IT. Because in IT, you may not necessarily need all that big space for your company. Then there we look at the service sector stakeholders. With this, I need to note that as companies, as service exporters or product exporters, someone is always going to know more than you do. Don't be afraid to approach experts in that field. It is something that you need to embrace. There is always going to be somebody who knows something more than you do, and don't fear to approach them. Always use them. This is what the service sector stakeholder chat is going to try to explain. So we look at the service providers. As you, the first thing is the service providers. As you are in that business, or we can also say product providers. If you're in that business of say or construction, you have to use the people that are in that sector to help you, because there is no way you will progress without them. Okay? Because they have done things before you, or you need them somewhere to help you go ahead. So the service providers that we may look at those interested in exporting, for you to also help you in enhancing your export knowledge and skills, and working towards being export ready as a company. Then we have the intermediaries. These intermediaries are, you are in a construction sector, and then you need accountants, you need lawyers in your engagement into the export market. So you need these intermediaries to help you. Say if you need a lawyer to help you with the legal regime in the destination country. So you have to have them around. And then we have the BSOs, or business support institutions. Here I try to look at the sector associations. You have to belong to sector associations. There is no way you prosper in exporting without you having to use or leverage the support that is in these sector associations. I looked at ICT AU, UNABSEC, Auto for the tourism, UNABSEC construction, ICTU for IT, and you can also think of, for the people who are in the fruits and vegetables export, you can look at those so many associations that you have. You have to belong to an association. Reason is the people in these associations will help you, give you insight, because they have been there. They have been there in the market that for you are thinking of just going to. So use their knowledge. Like for the products people, we have a scenario of one lady from a foreign country that I will not mention. And for her tactic is to always come, offer a good deal to Ugandan exporters. You supply 1, 2, 3 shipments, and the third shipment she will not pay you. And she has been doing that on several exporters. So the sector association here is now aware of the lady, and they pass on this information to all the other people who are in that association to alert them about the presence of this particular lady who could possibly cheat the other new entrants into the export market. So the chambers of commerce and other business support institutions. Then government. We look at the government agencies, the trade promotion organizations like here at Uganda Export Promotion Board, the line ministries like Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, say of Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, the national guidance here for IT. So looking at those agencies, it is also good to also use the EAC Secretariat or the NISA Secretariat. These bodies exist. So if you are in Uganda and you'd like to penetrate market into maybe Kenya, then it's prudent for you to ask the EAC Secretariat about this potential market that you intend to go into, and they are of good help to you. They can always give you this information on where you need to put emphasis and where you need to be careful as you penetrate into that destination market. After the outbreak of the COVID-19 in was it January 2020, and here in Uganda in March 2020, ICT services sector has become pivotal in marketing. This we cannot deny, because it does not only become pivotal in marketing, but also in our day-to-day lives. Everything had to change instantly. Buy goods online, deliver your things at your doorstep without you having to move out, attending patch meetings like these ones. If it was some 2-3 years ago, we would now in maybe a hotel in one room, and we will be physically attending this meeting. But because of the outbreak of COVID, we now have to resort to using ICT services. It is not close to impossible to successfully market your services exports without embracing technology. Now here I look at some techniques that can be used to market service exports. Here we can also look at techniques used to market product exports, like I said in the beginning. First, we look at creating a website. For services exporters, there is no way to convince somebody that you offer a service without you having a website. That is the basic. You have to have a website. The website can be dynamic, static, the normal HTML, JavaScript, and CSS website. And then for the product exporters, I know many of the product exporters do not have, they do not feel it important to have a website, but in this new era of COVID, there is no way we can run away from having a website. At least that is why I've put even Google sites, at least for people who can't have a website, at least make use of the Google sites. I don't know whether people have ever used this, but Google sites are now very popular in academia, most lecturers use it to give people coursework so that you can create e-portfolios. So under e-portfolios is where you can also create your e-portfolio about your company, because products exporters are not shy to share just their WhatsApp number and their Gmail. So in that same spirit, you can also share your Google site, because you are not yet there on being fully digital, but you cannot run away from at least being digital. Maybe later on, as I end this presentation, I could possibly show you a simple way of how you can create this Google site for some of the products exporters that are for the products exporters that I've seen on the list of participants. Then make use of Google My Business. Let us have it as let us embrace it in faith that Google My Business is also now part of any business, because every time you hear of a company, you will try to go to Google Maps and try to see if you can find it. So Google My Business, even if you do not have a website as yet, you can have a Google My Business location on Google Maps, so that foreign buyers can always at least get some confidence in you when they search you on the web and they can't find you. At least they can find you on Google Maps. And then having social media presence and running social media campaigns. This one now strictly to target foreign markets. I know in Uganda, many products and service sellers here have embraced it in doing the social media campaigns, but you can still do these social media campaigns now targeting the foreign market that you wish to go into. I don't know whether you can now have you can go on YouTube and fail to find an ad that will play in the middle of a video that you're playing. Those are campaigns that are specific, and these ads will actually always change depending on what you keep on browsing on the web. So if you are in a service export like construction, then you need to also do some targeting in the foreign market that you you're looking at, and you do some targeting. I wish to note that if any of the participants here, the prospective exporter of a service or product, is not conversant on how they can do these techniques, then here at Uganda Export Promotion Board, the desk is always there for you to come, and we take you through these whole different techniques so that you can grow your business. The most important thing and the best thing is you will not pay for this service. We are here to help you at free cost because you've already paid your taxes. So we are looking at the other one is productizing your services. I know on the list of participants, there is Edison, and he said he's from the performing arts. What am I talking about in productizing your service? I know you are in performing arts. You do dances, acrobatics, like you said. Try to productize your service in a form of making YouTube videos that you can upload on your YouTube channel. Have your YouTube videos on CDs that you can sell out in a way that you can give out, in a way those help you to actually sell your service better in a form of a product. We've seen so many individuals now in the music industry currently. All the musicians right now in Uganda are now earning from YouTube. They have only realized how important YouTube is after the lockdown. So it is a form of productizing the service that they are offering instead of always being on shows to sing. Now you also need your videos to upload them on YouTube, and YouTube will pay you for that particular service, for the views that people have, for the views that you've gained in your YouTube channel. That is a way of productizing your service. If you're in construction, come up with videos that talk about the construction services that you offer. If you are in education, a school, a university, come up with videos that can talk about your service that you offer in education. Writing blog posts about your service offerings. Not so many Ugandans have embraced blogs in form of service offerings. And most of the bloggers or the people who do write these blogs are writing about personal blogs. But these blogs can also be used to post your service offerings. You can get a blogger who can write for you a very good blog, and then they post it. And then it helps you get online visibility. In a case that if somebody, say, goes to the internet and tries to search for your company, you may not have a website, but you have a blog of a person who has already talked about how your service was nice, how they used you, and that alone builds customer confidence. Then spreading the word via email, specifically getting subscriber signups. From today, let us go and check our websites. Do we have subscriber signups? These are good because when you come up with a new product, you can always use this database of those people who put their emails. You can always send them information about the new service offerings, and in a way, it helps you capture a market that you could possibly not get if you didn't have this subscriber sign up. So it is always prudent that on our websites, we include these subscriber signups. I may not be able to buy the product, or I may go to your web page, and I'm not ready to say you are into real estate or construction. I may go to your page and find that the works that you've been doing are quite nice, but I do not have the money currently. So if you have the sign up thing, I'll go sign up and put in my email so that every time you have a new service offering, first you advertise your new service offering through that email. And the other thing is, you always remind you in the face of the customer. You're in the face of the customer at no cost. You can always be in the face, updating them of what you've done, and they will always remember you when they reach a point where they want to maybe do some project in construction. Then make best use of search engine optimization. Look in keywords of your business. I don't know. We can all get to our phones and try to do a search on fresh produce Uganda. And if you're a fruits and vegetable exporter today in Uganda and you're attending this meeting, try to search for yourself. You just put in fresh produce Uganda and see the companies that will appear. If you do not appear there, then and you have a website, then that means you need to unlock in some of the keywords into the search engine, optimization, so that you always appear when those keywords, fresh produce, fruits, vegetables, then you have to appear in those keywords. It's always good to have those things, because the moment somebody is searching about something, say construction in Uganda, it is by coincidence that the first company that will appear up is the company that is the webpage that the person will go to, and will forget about the others. So then you can do search engine marketing methods like pay-per-click. Here you pay, in this case for paying, but at least it gives more value because you are only charged after a person has clicked on your web, on your link. So you actually get to you only spend when somebody has clicked on your web page, and that help you get online visibility. For a trip, a foreign trip, for us to get customers. However, you need to do, like I said in my presentation, you need to do some background work even before you go for a trip, because you may
Samuel, you're off. Samuel, you're off. We can't see your presentation. Okay, as Samuel is trying to get back, I have been seeing Mr. Kaplish's hand up. Mr. Kaplish, are you there? Mr. Kaplish, are you with us? Your hand is up. Maybe you could raise your issue, or was it an accident that it's up? Okay, it seems. Oh, okay. I've seen your chat. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can see the presentation now. Samuel, are you back? Okay. Please put full view and progress. Samuel, unmute your microphone, please. Unmute your mic. You can keep your presentation on full view, but unmute your mic.
So here I was on the last bullet, registration on the UN Secretariat vendors list. I've put a link here. This UN vendors list, it is actually, the requirements are very easy that even a new firm can register on the UN vendors list. What is important here to note is that even if you do not have a website, or even if you have a website, but you've not done so many works as an individual company, if a person tried to search you and then they found out that your company name actually exists on the UN Secretariat vendors list, then it gives them more confidence in trying to want to use your services. So this is something that we can look at as both services and products exporters that are looking at getting into new markets. That closes my presentation, and thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Samuel. Kawalia, thanks a lot for your presentation. Sam has brought out quite a bit of information, especially on how the IT and IT-enabled services have now taken advantage of COVID and after COVID situation. So for all those who are into business, even for any other sector, I think we now appreciate the fact that IT and IT use mine. Apologies for that hitch. We are very, very sorry. We had internet issues. I hope we are still all there. We've just concluded with Samuel's presentation, And we shall share all these presentations. I hope you've been receiving the rest of the presentations because we shared all the others. So I hope you have all received the presentations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is 11 o'clock and we should be getting into our next presentation with Mr. Sam Karuhanga. Unfortunately, he will not be presenting today. We are giving him a slot for tomorrow because he has been given another urgent assignment, which he has to go for. But Sam Karuhanga should be presenting to us on international regulation and guidelines for labeling and packaging for exports. So we apologize, he's not going to be with us today, but we shall have him in tomorrow to make his presentation. So you realize today we have been speaking mainly about marketing and how you can get yourself better prepared to market. So I will give the final presentation today, and then we shall get into questions and answers as we conclude. So my presentation will be about the practical determinants of a farm's export performance. I know that the last few days we have been speaking about a lot to do with how to prepare yourself and be able to export. But today we also spoke a lot to marketing. And my presentation basically brings all these few days that we have been together. It brings everything together in what I will be presenting today. So I will now take you through just a simple presentation on practical determinants of farms' export performance. In other words, what anyone in exports or anyone interested in doing that business or already in that business, what should you do to ensure that your performance is good? Now, the structure of my presentation will be, I'll speak to two key areas. One, why are we talking about practicality? So I will do a simple definition just to relate to what we mean here, and then I will also talk about the different determinants, the internal components and then the external components. So the definition of practical, I picked a few definitions, and one says concerned with actual doing or use something rather than with the theory and ideas. When you talk to business people, many times when they go for our trainings, they say, you people are very theoretical, but the practice is different, which may be true, but you'll also appreciate that without the theory, very little practice may actually give you good results. So the other definition is about practical. Anything practical, is it feasible? So when you're talking about your export performance, we are looking at areas which are actually feasible depending on the environment you're in. Then the other definition is about relating to real action. So from all these definitions, you can see that there is an action aspect in there. So now, to put it simply in terms of the factors, what should you consider? What are the things that will actually, at the end of the day, speak to your export performance if you handle them right? Now, I'll start with a company that is getting into the business owner, the business directors. What exactly is motivating you? Why are you getting into exports? Is it because one of your friends called you from London and said, man, I can see we have a lot of Ugandan pineapples here. Why don't you organize and send some pineapples? Now, such an inquiry from a friend in London would sound very interesting because he'll tell you probably, a pineapple here is 10 pounds or 20 pounds. And that looks exciting, but as a business owner, is that what you want? Is that where you want to be? Is that the direction you're actually interested in taking your business? So your performance at the end of the day will be defined by what has motivated you to get into that business. If you're not even in the sector, you have no idea what is happening. Are you really going to be able to be successful and perform well? Then the other question is, what is your level of commitment to follow through? Now, exporting calls upon your patience and a lot to do with how committed you are to actually drive this business forward. If you're not committed, if you don't see your time spent on exporting, then probably that's not a sector you should get involved in. That's probably not an area where you're interested in doing business. So you need to have a level of commitment as a business owner to actually spend a lot of time, spend your finances, spend a lot of what you'll focus in your business to be in that area where you want to perform best. Then the other aspect that will affect your performance at the level of a business owner is your benefits. What are you looking to benefit out of this export business? That also speaks a lot to the kind of performance. So if you are looking to get big benefits, then definitely you'll put a lot of effort and you'll have interest to do a lot more for your business. Because it takes quite a bit of courage actually also to go down the export line. The second practical determinant that I looked at is the farm characteristics. In the presentations today, the different resource persons mentioned something about farm characteristics. What's your business size and your level of experience in the sector? As Export Promotion Board, many of the people we interface with, we always find out what business they are in. You find somebody who is probably in doing maybe mechanics, now wants to get into exporting of fruits and vegetables. That's fine, but what level of experience do you have in that area? So you need to be able, first of all, to build your experience. Now, we also encourage that you first do this business on the domestic market. Why? Because the domestic market is your testing ground. So you do your first exams on the domestic market. If the business is doing well and you have learned and grounded yourself in the domestic market, then it will be easier, it will be faster, it will make it more interesting for you if you have that experience. Now, size may not matter because even at international level, we have small businesses which do very good business, and with the technology that we have now, that has even made it better. So you can pick your niche and be able to supply that. You may not go the big way, that's, and do business like Mukwano or some of the big exporters we have, but in your niche as a small business, you are able to still get your dollar in. Financial resources. This, I am sure all of you know how it influences anybody in business, not only export business, but you need finances. And in our trainings, we've also had a number of people take us through what specifically you would need to do if you're in export business. Now, the other question you should ask yourself is, do you have the export structure in place to support your export business? In other words, do you have the right managers, the right officers? Do you have a source of information which actually speaks to the kind of business? Now, Samuel also spoke to us about associations. Here we are looking at who are the people in the different associations and how can we be able to maximize that relationship we have. Associations are places where you relate with people in the same sector, people in the same area, people who speak the same kind of business language with you. So if you are getting into exports, or if you're trying to develop yourself in that line, or you're already there, try to find people with like minds to associate with. So your export structure, or your structure of your business, will also definitely affect how you perform at the end of the day. If you have people who have no idea on how export transactions are carried out, and here you are trying to get yourself involved, definitely your performance will be defined by some of those. Still under farm characteristics is do you have expertise? And this speaks to the previous point that I have just spoken to, knowledge and expertise. The ED took us through a detailed presentation of research. You can't do exports without research. There is so much that you need to know about the markets that you're going to get into, and therefore you need to be able to research about it, find out what the buyers want. Yes, you're saying, I'm in Simsim and I want to export Simsim, but who is buying your Simsim? What does he want the Simsim for? Simsim can be used for a number of things. Is it for oil? There are those who extract oil out of it. Is it for bakeries and confectionery? So find out the line that your product is being used for. Who are your buyers? Where can they be got? So you need to be knowledgeable about that detail, and that will definitely define at the end of the day your performance, because if you don't know much about your market or even your business, then you will not be able to manage through, especially in terms of crises. We've just been going through a pandemic. Now, people who had no idea about the way their businesses work in the different markets were badly affected. Others were able to quickly work through some of the challenges, and they continued exporting. So that's what I'm trying to emphasize. Now, the other thing is capacity. In export business, you're talking about markets outside your country, whether it's within the region, whether it's beyond that. And those markets have their own kind of requirements. Yes, you may be a Ugandan in the US who will eat the same kind of bananas, but by the time the banana gets to him or her, they have gone through a lot of market requirements to be able to clear it through their system. So your production capacity should be able to address all those things. By the time the bananas are on a plate in the US, what have they gone through? So can your business actually be able to meet all those requirements? And these are quality requirements, but also quantity requirements. I'll not go into those details. I'm sure you people in your different businesses, you have that appreciation of what quality and quantities you require. Then the other thing on capacity is our timeliness and how we can deliver. Can you be able to deliver in a timely manner and regularly? Now we have a lot of you who get into exports to service just one client or one buyer. Now somebody called you and said, okay, can you send me Maganjo, Royco, and groundnuts? Now, this person is probably going to consume some items and sell some to a few Ugandans on the other side. Now, when products get there successfully, this person says, okay, now send me more and send me so much. So the quantities are more, how regular they want them increases, and you find yourself unable to perform. Why? Because you did not prepare yourself accordingly. Now, also some of those who are in agricultural businesses especially, and Uganda is blessed to have 2 seasons to produce some of these products. And out there, the demand for some of these products is big. So you go out there and get a buyer who says, okay, I want 2 tons of, let me say, bananas, the sweet bananas or the Bogoya bananas. And you say 2 tons per week, that's something that I can achieve. And you come here and load the first one. Then maybe by the time you loaded it, it was during the Bogoya season. And then the second order comes through and it's impossible for you to get bananas. So you cannot deliver. Hence your performance in exports is being affected. So first understand, do you have the capacity in terms of the orders you're planning for to be able to supply regularly? To be able, because buyers are very sensitive to timeliness. If you don't deliver on time, your buyers will run away very fast. The other issue in capacity is your marketing. Your marketing strategy also affects your kind of performance. Many of the small businesses we work with come to us and say, we have a market. This is what we want to do, which is a good way to start. But a strategy to continue supplying is key. And that was spoken to by the ED in terms of how to find and retain your buyers. So yes, you could have a market that is maybe a one-off, or probably they want orders in maybe once every month or something. Now, are you strategizing to do that continuously, or is it something that you have gotten once and you think that is it and you'll be able to be sustained along those lines? So we encourage you to actually develop a proper marketing strategy. In there, you can have those referrals, yes, but in the past, before COVID, we had a number of our exporters go into some markets to try and get buyers. So they go for trade fairs, they go for trade missions, they even do their independent visits and actually identify buyers, speak to them. And so this is something you need to include in your marketing strategy. We also had, Samuel talked to us a lot about the internet and how you can market yourself. So your marketing strategy should include all these aspects so that you are able to fit in. But without a proper marketing strategy, your performance will not be good at all, and you will definitely be affected at the end of the day by having almost no sales, maybe one sale every 3 months, and that is not very feasible business. Okay, the next issue is financing. That one I have spoken about. But what I want to emphasize here is many of us shy away from using the bank facilities because you have the issue of the interests that come with it, which is very true. So plan your finances properly. There are some bank facilities that are really good if you have properly planned your finances. But don't just wake up and you're trying to access money from the bank and you don't even know how you're going to pay it back. Because I must also say that sometimes businesses don't bring back money as fast as we think. So is it actually practical? Is it something that you should venture into to go to the bank? Or can you use friends or your personal savings? So what I'm trying to say here is, yes, finance is a practical determinant, but where you get it from has to be properly addressed. Then the issue of marketing strategy, I've already spoken to that, but I made it an independent bullet because we have a lot of challenges from many of our companies. They start a business and they start off very well, but because they haven't actually looked at their marketing, they eventually suffer. Now, I have had, for instance, somebody coming to me after setting up his maize meal and everything, he's now running, he has a product. Then he comes and says, I have my maize flour to market, to sell. Do you have a market? So my question was, so what was your strategy when you are setting up this? So because he's an engineer, that area he's very conversant with, he set it up. His production was good, but he didn't have a market and he hadn't planned for it. So we had to start now to try and plan and help him develop his marketing strategy. So his performance, he definitely was affected. Stakeholders. You cannot run away from different stakeholders in exports. Right from when you start your business to when you eventually finally export, you have some kind of stakeholder you're dealing with. So it is important that you know who your stakeholders are, what they need, and how you can actually get them. Because it doesn't make sense for you to try and start a business and you're not able to meet the needs of the stakeholders in your process. So government is very key. That's where we come in. And what do we do? We are there to train and guide you. We're there also to work with you to get buyers, but we have to get buyers for a company that is well established and ready to actually take up the challenge that comes with that business. So government supports you in different ways, and our ways are quite clear in terms of what we do. So there are many government agencies, depending on the sector that you are involved in. Find out what they want, ensure that you actually get what they want. I've had examples of people sharing with us where when they were not doing what we're asking them to do, it was such a struggle. But now that they are doing what we have asked them to do, business is flowing and flowing well. So government is key in your export business. Secondly, business support organizations. The previous speaker spoke a lot about this. I don't think I need to go down the line to explain that, but please keep them next to you. First, get into associations and understand this business. You know, research in exports does not end. It is continuous. You have to have your ear to the ground. So when you're in with people who know your business, have been there before, it is faster and easier for you to catch up. The intermediaries, who are the people that you need to work with to get some of this business properly done. Financial institutions, that one we know. Accountants and so on, please have your financial books together. This is no longer let me say, you know, a by the way in business. When we talk about aftercare services that we are offering, even on you, some people are asking us, is this business actually existing? Do they have, are they credible people? So before I go back to say, yes, go ahead and do business with them, I need to know. I need to see that you're actually performing. I need to see that you're credible. And one of our speakers last week told us financial records are some of the ways to speak about your credibility. So don't run away from it. It's a practical determinant of your performance. I will not bring market buyers to you if you're not credible. And that's why as Export Promotion Board, we do these assessments. We need to see and know where you are. We have had to do aftercare, provide aftercare services for Ugandan companies. They go ahead and do whatever business they have and then run away and switch off their phones. And we have to come looking for you. So as a company in exports, kindly ensure that you have the services from the different intermediaries work with you. Service providers, now these can make or break your business. If you're in fruits and vegetables, who are your suppliers? This is key. Are you getting your fruits from the right people, or are you getting from farmers that are not registered? And when you're doing business with them, when it's time for you to complete your order, they are running away. So service providers are very key. I will not emphasize that. I'm sure you know how much value they are. Now, finally, I want to speak to the external factors. And external factors, it's the market and the market and the market. And the market comes in different ways. It's about the buyer, it's about the requirements, but it's also about, you know, the political and legal situations in those different countries. It's about the cultures and how people handle themselves in different countries. Then, of course, it's about the market attractiveness. The ED spoke to us earlier on about the market size. So is it an attractive market for you, or is it something that you're going to put so much and lose money? Economic stability and political stability, these go hand in hand. And it's important that you also make sure that whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing business, this is important. Why? Because exports are not just about sending products or services. Sometimes you need to establish in those markets. So how are their economies performing? And then, of course, the channels and how your products are going to get to those different markets. So in brief, those are the determinants that I picked on. There are so many others, and these vary from sector to sector. So some in some sectors, they may be some of the factors may be of great importance. In other sectors, it may not be the case. Okay, so that's my presentation on the practical determinants of a farm's export performance. And it summarizes basically all the trainings that we've been having the rest of the week. So with that, I'd like to end my presentation and get us back now into the final session of our webinar today. So ladies and gentlemen, now we get into the Q&A session, and I hope we have some more questions from you participants. We would also like to hear you share some experience for those who have already gotten into the business, to tell us whether what we are sharing actually makes sense or is practical. Or can you hear me? I'm told some people can't hear me. If you can hear me, just raise your hand so that I'm sure that I am okay. Okay, good. So I think you can hear me now. So I was saying I would love to hear some practical experience from your end to tell us whether what we share and train you about is actually of value. Is it something that you've put to use and seen that it has brought you good results, or is it something that is not making sense at all to your business? In other words, we are giving you theory and not real practical things. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll just now check our Q&A if you have any pending questions. Oh, unfortunately, when my computer went off, I lost all the Q&A, so I'm not able to see any questions there. I'll just find out from my colleague if there are any major questions in there. Meanwhile, please put up your hand if you have questions, and then I will be able to pick on you. Okay. Lucy, do you have a question? You can unmute.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brenda, for this lesson since they started. Although maybe I started late, I have learned a lot about exports, because all along I wanted to export my sweaters, but this one is going to prepare me so that I export his sweaters. It's not only just exporting a product, but you have to look for some information. Thank you so much. And another thing, I have a question.
Yes.
Here, when I see the participants, most of them, they are in fresh foods and whatnot. And there are so many other people who are in crafts and they have nice crafts. how can you add them on this program? Because as we always travel to certain countries, there are so many ladies, even gentlemen. How can I introduce this program to them so that you can add them there so that they can learn how they can export their crafts?
Okay, thank you very much, Lucy. I'll respond to that question. Let me take a few more questions and then I can be able to respond. Yes, Robert. Robert.
Yes, yes, hello.
Yes, Robert, please go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Once again, my name is Robert from Myla Group of Companies. I had a couple of concerns that I raised in the beginning that whether I could share them. Unfortunately, most of the panelists, like Ellie, already left. And so my concern was, because on several occasions we've been trying to reach out to, we've been trying the internet to reach a few markets internationally. And one of the countries we tried was Russia. But we realized that there were so many internet scams on the internet for the markets. And these guys were sharing kind of wrong information. I don't know how the Exports Promotions Board could help us at least to mitigate this. Then again, I feel that because I've been in the business community for a while, and there are a couple of challenges, actually mostly to the startup companies, the startup businesses and the startup companies, where we also belong at one point. So there is a need, an urgent need for business incubation centers, where I believe the Exports Promotions Board should work in close partnerships, at least with the different universities in the different localities, to have the business communities at least incubated, and other support agencies like the institutions like banks and other URA taxman incorporated into these incubation centers to train the business people. I think it would really work. Where I come from in Entebbe, there are a number of initiatives that are being taken up by individuals to bring this thing on board, but it's not forthcoming because it lacks support of bigger entities like the Exports Promotions Board and UTB. And UTB, as you mentioned. So there is still a lack. There is still a lack of commitment from these entities. So I feel the business incubation centers should be put on the on the front agendas or strategies to support the local businesses. As I mentioned, still from the different interactions I've had with people, about the 68% of the informal sectors. The truth be told, most of Ugandans belong to that sector, and this sector contributes a lot of revenue to our economy. So I feel still that all efforts made across the board should also target this sector that we mentioned. And I feel the taxman also, because of recent, actually, for our camp, we are trying to go to URA to do so. The taxman, I'm saying, shouldn't be also an hindrance to the efforts made by the business community. I feel the taxman should do a little more, either to come to the people, understand their businesses, motivate them, actually incite them, put their up incentives that we business communities should become tax compliant, and other agencies, because what we have realized that bureaucracy within different agencies, paperwork a lot, and the lack of knowledge attracts very many con men in between the middlemen. So the more you make this information and the system a little systematic to the businessman, most of us, we shall be very attracted to work with the different agencies. That being said, I thank you very much for these initiatives. I think this is a fourth or fifth session that I'm attending, and I've also encouraged my partners in both Kenya and Congo to be part of this because they really need to know what's happening down here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you for marketing export promotion as well. Now, I'll respond to these two questions, and then in case of any other, I will take the questions. Now, respond to Lucy, how can your other colleagues be added to this? This starts with the export readiness assessment. So all the people who are here have completed the export readiness assessment. And in there, we are looking at, you respond to questions. I'm sure, Lucia, you've gone through this. You respond to questions about your business, and it enables us to see your level of readiness. And then we are able to pick you up from there, and you will be able to attend all our trainings. Now, the issue of internet scams that you raised, Robert. Tomorrow we are going to have a training on digital marketing, and I'm sure our experts in that area will speak a little more about that. But I'd like also to advise that internet is like any other market where you will go, and if you're not careful and you don't handle, be responsible in how you do it, you will definitely be affected. So you have to be very cautious and alert on how to get your information there and what information to actually go by. A lot of our exporters or companies interested in export actually go to internet to find buyers, which is okay because there's some very good buyers that you can pick from there. But before you get involved in any transaction, be it sending your products or receiving money from them, first double check. And the way you double check, now like the ED spoke about it, we are coming in to see how best we can help with the companies out there, especially through our embassies. That's one of the key ways we try to reach out. But we also reach out through companies like ours, the promotional agencies in different countries, and we find out. So sometimes something may look very rosy and exciting on internet, and you have had all these discussions on WhatsApp and so on, and it's actually a scam. So before you get into committing yourself, first make sure that you actually are fully involved in terms of, are fully informed in terms of who these people are. The other thing is don't get into these businesses without proper agreements. We keep emphasizing this. A lot of the businesses do WhatsApp, agreements. These will not be proper agreements in the courts of law. So make sure you have a proper, well-structured agreement that has taken into consideration your business and what you're putting at stake. Okay, so if they are genuine people, they will be ready to go down that line. But normally we get excited and try to push transactions through without, first of all, being responsible and protecting ourselves. So because of that, we have had a number of people burning their fingers. So it may not totally be airtight, but it may be something that will save you. Because even for the aftercare services that you come from us, we need this documentation. We can't just because we have seen you and we are able to defend you or to follow through your case. We need documentation. We need properly structured information from you. So please don't just get onto the internet. Yes, these scams are very, very many on the internet. Now the issue of having the informal sector, this is something that we are working on as Export Promotion Board. We actually have had programs where we have gone down to the borders to try and train and work with those informal traders along the borderlines. But it is something that, you can't wish away overnight. So these are some of the ways we try to get people to formalize. For instance, you cannot get onto our export readiness assessment without being formally registered, because you can't do business, international business at that, without formal registration. Now, we have a lot of challenges with traders, especially because we are a land-linked country. Taking a truck across the borders may not be so difficult, but it catches up with you at one point. So we are trying as much as possible to encourage companies, business people to formalize. Register your company, get your TIN numbers, and get things properly formal. Now, you also raised an issue of URA and continuous awareness. I know that URA has really now worked a lot on their awareness, and if you approach them, they will be able to get you onto their trainings or come to you and advise you. But in case you have challenges in that area, please get in touch with us, because we can't run away from taxes. I will not have a salary at the end of the day. So if we don't pay our taxes, some of this government involvement in our business and making sure that we have a good business enabling environment will not happen. So we need to be able to work with them. So in case you have issues, if you're a group and you want URA to talk to you, you can always organize and see how best to do that. Middlemen, yes, middlemen take advantage where you're not informed. So we'll keep repeating this for you to get information. Many people shy away from Export Promotion Board, and we don't know why. Yes, we are centralized in Kampala for now, but we are working to get into the different districts. But our services are here, they are free. We talk to you, we guide you, we handhold you. I mean, for those who have approached us, I'm sure you're able to testify and explain. So we are not charging for any of this that we are offering. If there is a charge, we will inform you, and we will inform you why we are charging for something like that. So middlemen always take advantage of systems that are not structured, or of people who don't want to find out the information themselves. So please try as much as possible to get in touch with us and find out more so that you're not exploited. Okay, so there's a question here. Thanks, Brenda, for all this session. However, I am making a consultation on fabric service providers apart from TexFAD and TexCEDA. Are there other service providers of 100% woven cotton that I can approach? Caroline, there's someone in Ginger. We'll probably share some details about that. But it depends on what you want. Let us know. You can share this. We shall get in touch with you since we have your full details, and see how we can help you depending on what you want. Okay, let me see if there's another question. How could Uganda Export Promotion Board help the maize exporters who got stuck with their lorries to Kenya? Where did they go wrong? Okay, well, in terms of the discussions on maize, a lot is going on, and I know that our executive director is involved with the different government institutions trying to handle that. And I think UNBS has now started certifying some of that, of the issue, of the companies with issues of maize. So that aspect is something that we keep talking about: quality. And because we are land linked, I will repeat that, having your truck cross to Kenya may not be a problem, but it catches up on you if your quality of what you're supplying is an issue. So that is something that is being worked on. I will not explain much. I know that all the different Ministry of Trade, Uganda Export Promotion Board, Uganda National Bureau of Standards, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Prime Minister's Office, all these institutions are working on trying to find solutions to those traders. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, somebody has put up his hand. Lawino, you have a question? Kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, Lawino.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Yes, thank you, Brenda. Mine is just a contribution to the other gentleman from Entebbe about the fraud masters on the internet. You know, in most cases, we need to understand that whenever we are dealing with people out there, we should avoid dealing with people who are so much individual. Now, this individual, first of all, they will always have no proper email address, no proper location, no proper company's name. If they decide to give you, they give you on the house number without any street address and everything. So the best thing is that you have to look at people who contact you in the name of the company. And if in the name of the company, check at the email address that they use to communicate with you. If that email address is not a domain mail, like you can see Uganda Export Promotion Board.com, something like that. And you find them, the majority of those comments are always using Yahoo at 2626, something like that, at Yahoo, Gmail. Those are, whenever you come across such people and they talk a lot of big things, be very careful. You must make sure that you are speaking to someone who is speaking like a company. And if he's speaking like a company, check his email address. The email should be a domain name because there is no any company in Europe, in Asia, in anywhere that has no domain email. Unless later on, then you can begin to talk personally in their personal email because now you've understood them very well. So that is my, then coming back to the, he also pointed something about the URA, which is now very, very, very serious for these upcoming business entities. Because now, the moment you registered your TIN number and you display it there, the next month, they will start sending you email or filing your returns. And you can get the pressure that you can never see it before. This kind of pressure is too much. So we need the URA at least to come up on board to at least give some kind of, like he mentioned, incentives, whereby at least if a business is just starting, can they give something like maybe 1 or 2 years for picking up, someone to pick up, you know, even though someone has already got the TIN number, but at least there should be something that motivate people. You see, when you begin to start scaring away people, sending messages all the time, it's really very, very, very serious in the line of taxmen. And it's many people are going back because of that. They try to come up with business, but the moment they register their TIN number, they want to make something official, it becomes ridiculous. So that is what I wanted to contribute, Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very important information that you've shared. And thank you for the clarity on URA. We had somebody speak to us about export incentives, but I think the concern here is not necessarily export incentives, but to understand exactly how new businesses can actually benefit from URA services. Does it mean that if somebody has just started, they need to be paying taxes? So we shall organize a webinar on that with them so that they can be able to advise our exporters. Now, something Robert raised that I didn't comment about was business incubators. Robert, I'm sorry, I hadn't commented about that. Now, we work with business incubators. Currently, I am actually on a program with the business incubator in Makerere, the School of, I think it's food science. They have processors they have been incubating, and we have been part of it, myself, a team from UNBS, Ministry of Trade, and we have worked with about 40 processors. So we are open to working with, as many incubation centers as possible, and it will be good if we can be in touch with them. I know that CURAD, we have some people from CURAD here who are already part of this training, and it is one of those that we need to closely work with to see what we can do better with them. Okay, so we are coming to midday. We can have a few more questions. Lucia, do you have, Lucy, do you have a question? I can see your hand is up.
Yes, I have.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Brenda. Hello, everyone. Brenda, you talked about people coming to Export Promotion Board, but I have a humble request, if possible. If Export Promotion Board officers can get programs on televisions, on radios, in different languages, so that people can know about Export Promotion Board. I think that will market Export Promotion Board. Then the people can ask questions. Then they can come to the offices. Another issue, there is, I don't know, Brenda, whether you got that information. The IATF, International African Trade Fair, they send me the message because those guys, Afreximbank, they have me in their database. They always send me even the webinars. That exhibition expo is going to take place in Rwanda in December, maybe from 8th up to 14th. It has to be about 7 days. And they sent me an email. But now I have a question. We went for an exhibition in 2019, East African Danis, we got some issues between Uganda and Rwanda with Afreximbank, so that we get information. Shall Ugandans be allowed to participate in that exhibition as an African country? Before you register us, maybe are you also going to organize it like you organized it last year? Because this time it is near, last time it was in Cairo. Another issue, I request Export Promotion Board, if possible. Like me, we went in Russia, and in Russia, there is a market for Ugandan products. And at the embassy there in Russia, they want Ugandan products to be put in their offices. So when Russians want those products, they can make orders from there. I hope Export Promotion Board, you have the access of contacting the embassies throughout the world to ask them about the exhibitions, the fairs, so that you can penetrate those countries through those trade fairs. Because what I have learned, if you want to see your product, that country wants your product, I think it's also wide. If Export Promotion Board, you can access that information from all the embassies here and there as a government institution. So that's all from Lucy.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucy. Rebecca, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. I just sort of wanted to agree with Lucy that the Export Promotion Board, like if you could go, like she has said, on different platforms, so the country and the people that you're supposed to deal with know that you are available, know that you are there for them. You know me, you know our handcraft sector, and the kind of persons you have dealt with us, and you know a lot about us, even if I don't say it. But I was even interested to see how many people from the handcraft sector were here, and I was surprised to see that I was the only one, and yet there are many more of them. out there that are even way bigger than me, that have been to so many different countries. So one, it could be what we are using here. I might be here because I was approached, and maybe because of my level of education. I'm not saying I'm so educated, but and my exposure and what that I can come here and sit and take time and do this and go through this, and I know the meaning of it. But the hundreds of women and with the what I've seen, one of the things that really sells Uganda out there, away from tourism, is handcraft. Even when we were at the expo in Milan, the one thing that brought thousands of people to our pavilion was coffee, and second, it was handcraft. So I keep wondering what we are doing with the ladies in the handcraft. We have our problems, but I think if you really approach most of them at their level of understanding, at their level of you know what I mean, because you have dealt a lot with us. So I sort of agree with Lucy that that could be an eye-opener, it could be a totally different way, because their contribution is huge, So that was just something I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for all your contributions and your questions. Now, Lucia's question on radio programs. Yes, this is something that we have in the past been involved with. However, currently our resource basket has been very limited, so we couldn't be able to be on some of these programs. But it is something that we are looking at having. But our EDL has also been on a number of radio programs to try and speak on our behalf. But I understand exactly what you're talking about, Lucia. It is something that we will be advising you as and when we are ready to start some of those programs. Intra-Africa Trade Fair, yes, this is a trade fair that is organized by for all African countries, and it's by African Union actually and Afrexim Bank. And we had the first one in Cairo, where we had a number of our companies participate. Now, it's a trade fair that happens every 2 years. So it actually should have happened in 2020. But because of COVID, a lot of these activities have been pushed. So originally the date was September for the Intra-Africa Trade Fair, but now it has been moved to December. And as Export Promotion Board, we are organizing to participate in this trade fair. And we'll be sharing with you information about how we look at how we are going to participate. So as long as you're prepared in terms of your quality, in terms of what we've been training about, you're basically will be informed on how we are going to go forward. Lucia, I also appreciate your information and contribution of getting our products in the different embassies. We've had some of the products there, but the biggest challenge is that we've had is that many of the embassies have taken these products as samples and they remain on their shelves and sometimes get expired. And we're trying now to find the best way to share products, not as samples, but products that they can use and also be able to market our countries, our companies. So that is in discussion with Foreign Affairs and the different missions to try and get our products in the missions continuously, so that we don't just have samples that are short-lived and they make no sense. So in terms of the craft sector, yes, we've been working with the craft sector a lot in the past, and we continue to work with them. They're not being on this program, on this platform doesn't mean we are not working with them. It's actually a project that we have currently internally that is going on with crafts people, and a number of crafts companies have been involved in it. There are a number of trainings and so on. So we work with them very closely as a sector. We know how much of value they are, not only to us as an institution, but also to the economy and the people involved. So we want to encourage that for those who have who are structured and are formed, please join the export readiness assessment. For those who are not, some of you have come together into associations. Please have your associations also join, because when we have the association as part of this, then we are able to speak to their different members. So because that sector has so many players, we need to be able to segment and handle them in their different areas. So the radio and TV request has been taken note of. We shall definitely look at how much we can improve and be able to speak on some of these different medias to reach to everybody. Okay, so I'll just check now for our last questions if we have any in the chat. I'll start from below. Robert says, thanks. I have been in quality assurance department in the different companies in regard to agro produce. There are clear policies that we put up, but government will fail the Kumba University in Entebbe and offer strategic location. Okay, Robert, I'm not sure exactly what you are asking here, but if there is an incubation center with Kumba University, we would be interested in getting in touch with them, so you could give us more information on that. Naomi, okay, you are saying hi to somebody. Larry, thanks for the refreshing training. Every day we have one thing to learn. Thank you for hosting. Okay, I think the rest were mainly comments about. Okay, I think most of them were about. I don't have any other question in the chats. Okay, so I think basically from today's session, we have had the questions answered. We have had the comments made. I had also asked as a host if someone can share an experience of from what they have learned from us, whether there is what we are giving you is of value and you have used it, or there is something we are doing wrong and you would want us to know. So if someone can give me that can be able to give me some kind of can answer my question or respond or give me some input. Then Noga, you're saying what happened to the monthly newsletters from UEPP? Okay, newsletters. I don't know whether you're asking for the newsletters or for the list of buyers that we were giving, because we haven't had a newsletter come out for a while, but I've taken note. We will be able to see if we can get our newsletters back and share. But we are doing what we call the buyers list, and that should be coming through any time once we have that information properly compiled. Okay, so anybody else? Lucy, I can see your hand up, and Robert, those will be my last. I hope one of you is going to answer my question, or nobody seems to. So in other words, what we are doing here is not being of value. Okay, Lucy, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
So this is Lucy. Brenda, thank you for this program. For me, I have learned a lot. I've been longing to getting this information because, as you know, I've been reaching you. I want to export my sweaters and whatnot. You know them. I've tried to travel to many countries, but I have learned that to export, you have to first sit down and prepare yourself before you enter in that export business. The procedures you have given us, you have given me, as me, Lucia, I don't know the others, it has been good to me. It has been a good lesson. And I hope you will also continue doing that. And I just have a question. Is it possible for Uganda Export Promotion Board for the members to make a, maybe, how can I call it, a group website where some people, maybe they click on Export Promotion Board, they might know the products we have. All we have to just make our individual websites. That's my question, but thank you so much. I appreciate what you have been doing since we started these trainings. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Lucia. Thank you so much. Robert, do you have a question? Please go ahead. Robert, you can go ahead. Robert, I can see your hand up. Please unmute and go ahead.
Yes, Brenda.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, Robert.
Yes, Brenda, you asked if we could give our experiences with the trainings we've had and the challenges where we can advise and all that. Yes. Brenda, I don't know how many people have access to the internet and have these constant trainings for over an hour or two on internet. I don't know, but I feel the constraints of the internet, if they could be worked on, I think the trainings can reach more and more Ugandans, because as I told you, actually I represent the 68% of the informal sector that would really love to have a share on this information. But all these members are also constrained by the internet constraints. So I feel if you address that particular issue, the trainings can be more valuable to a cross-section of Ugandans and potential exporters. Then again, yes, I understand I understand that internet is the way to go, but I feel the Export Promotion Board should also hit the field and find out on its participants physically and how they are using the information we learn on these platforms in our day-to-day businesses. For instance, Eli talked about market intelligence. I have to confess that one of my platforms that I use in business is called Market Intelligence, but I didn't know what exactly market intelligence meant. Yeah, other than thinking that it's a spying thing on my competitors, and that's all. Until Eddie mentioned that market intelligence is a daily based activity done by the businesses, and actually that's when I learned even the value of the platform that I owned for over these years. So that one I also actually I want to emphasize that you try to find us physically, because knowing us on social media or on this webinar may not really do a lot, but if you find us physically, talk to us physically, we shall feel more belonging to Uganda Export Promotions Board. I feel if you address that, then it will be fine. I know you try to share the different slides that we see, because we don't get to read them through the sessions, but you go ahead to share them. But I have also to confess that most of us, we fail to get them. I don't know. We see you share, but we fail to get. And I'm one of those people who has not actually created a folder for these slides yet, because I don't get to download them because I don't see them. So I don't know how you guys are going to go ahead and try to share these things on time, so that you make sure that we all get this. At least the participants who have participated directly in that session should really get these slides because they are very, very important.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Does the UPB visit the field? Yes, we actually do, but probably we haven't gotten to you because our numbers are small. But ideally, how this program should be working, when you send in your assessment, our next should be a field visit so that we know where you are, what you're doing, whether what you're answering actually in the online questionnaire is actually true. So that should be our next step. So I know that a number of you haven't been visited, but that is something that we are working on. We should be able to visit you sooner. Then, so now the other thing, we also go to the field. We have another program where we are linking producers to our exporters, especially those in agriculture. And we visit producers, talk to them, train them, and then link them to exporters depending on their level of production. So yes, we have those options, but of course it's not enough. We need to do a lot more. We need to have more numbers to do that. And we hope going forward that will be improved. It's unfortunate you haven't received the presentations. Kindly type your email address in the chat so that we pick it up. I don't know why we have not received that. You have not received it because we are trying as much as possible to send out presentations every after the trainings. So if you haven't received any of these presentations, please put your email address in the chat and we'll be able to pick it up there. Yes, the emphasis for us to speak to the informal sector, that has been heard and taken note of. Now, I have very little time left. For those whose questions I haven't responded to, I will ask that we have them in the chat and I will see how to respond to them. Let me just look at what we have here. Edson is saying, please, for some of you who have engaged in international trade fairs, what's different from this local? Okay, I think you're asking what's the difference in terms of the local and international challenges. The other question is from Davis. He's saying, hi, is there a country-to-country exchange of opportunities? Let me see, sorry. With the sister export agencies in East Africa and Africa, Davis. So I'll respond to those two questions and then I will take Solomon as the last question for today. Now on the issue of the challenges, whether they are different on the local and international, yes, I think they are different. There are a number of those which are different, but there are those which are really similar. So depending on what you're looking at, Edson, the challenges on international level, one of the biggest things that that you're faced with is that you're not in touch directly with the buyer that you're talking to, I mean physical. And because it is through a lot of technology, sometimes what is on the other side, you're not very sure. That's why we have so many requirements that you need to go to use, to be able to, or to meet, so that you are able to go through this business successfully. On the issue, the other issue of Davis, in terms of exchange opportunities, yes, we are in touch with a number of agencies out there. And when the opportunities arise, we are then able to share. So a lot of this we share with already existing exporters and those that we have on our databases. So in case there are specific areas of interest you would want to raise with us, Davis, please, you're welcome to let us know. But we are in touch with them, and we work very closely with some of those sister agencies. Okay, Solomon, you will be the last person to raise your question. Please unmute, Solomon, and raise your question.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Brenda, and the team from UEPB. My name is Solomon, and I work for Farm Africa. We are supporting NECPA NECPA is Northeast Chili Producers Association. They deal in dried chili, African bird's eye, in the process of acquiring export license. So first of all, I would like to give you a feedback. You are asking us for a feedback about these capacity building sessions we have had so far. To me, I feel this has been very important. We've had a lot of information, we've had a lot of education, and we've known a number of things that we would have actually suffered to look for them to help us move forward. And also for me, who does capacity building to a small business, it has also been important because it helps me to bring all of them on board to follow the sessions and at least have most of their questions answered. So my question would be, or comment, following one of the participants' question on whether you would be able to share have a platform where we share opportunities, especially for different products, because you already have a catalog of export companies and the different products that they deal in. That would be good for upcoming companies who still have challenges looking for the market. And then also, would it be possible having a mentorship, kind of a mentorship program where for a specific product, we can identify somebody who has already been in export for some time and maybe attach an upcoming exporter or company to such a person so that they can get some mentorship and experience. Because I know in business, much as they say they are competitors, but every competitor you get may be an opportunity for you. You may find somebody as a competitor when maybe, for example, our company is situated in northern Uganda. You may consider them a competitor at one point, and yet at a different time, they can be the ones supplying you with the products that you need. So I think having such a program would be okay in supporting smaller companies also gain access to the export markets and promote working together to promote Uganda's export industry. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. Now I'll respond to some of the questions I hadn't responded to. Lucy raised a request whether they can have a link to our website to be able to promote products, especially for companies that may not have websites. Lucy, that request has been taken in. We shall see whether that is something we can do. But I would like to encourage you that tomorrow, please be in the training, because we are going to talk about digital marketing. And we have a program for companies that are interested in building their websites. We'll have somebody speak to us about that. Then Robert talked about internet constraints to reach especially the informal. Robert, your concern is noted, and the aspect of having programs on radio and TV, which probably reach some of those people a little better, is going to be looked into, and we see how we work on that. Then an issue on On what Solomon has raised about the website, I think that still relates to what I've responded to. Solomon, thank you very much for being for sharing your experience with our information and confirming to us that what we actually share is of value to you. Please continue to encourage more people to be part of this so that they also pick and learn something. On the issue of a mentorship program, you partly answered yourself in terms of having people who can actually comfortably share information, especially business information. It is a bit of a challenge. It is a good thing to have to develop very strong businesses. When you have a mentor, then you make less mistakes. But it is something that I can't promise now as an institution. We may not be able to have that yet, but we will see. You never know. So we also thank you for the support, Solomon. Are you the one we met when we were in Lira, Solomon?
Yes, I'm the one you met at NECPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, we were in Lira and we had gone to visit some of the producers, and like Robert said, we visited the producers of dried chili, what is it called? African Bird Eye chili. There is a group, there's an association doing some very good work, and they are interested in actually exporting, and they are actually already working with exporters. They supply to a number of exporters, and that's one of the ways that we were able to interface with the exporters. So we thank you for the work you're doing with them, and we'll surely continue to work with you. So our time is fully spent now. I think we can close the training. In case I haven't responded to all your questions, someone is asking for a toll-free number. Oh, okay. We don't have a toll-free number, but we have a landline in case you can't get us on the mobiles, but it's not 24 hours. So depending on why you need a toll-free number, is it to report certain trade cases? Is it? So we don't have a toll-free number, but we have a landline, which I can put. I'll ask my colleague to put in the chat. It's a 0414 230 250. You can always call us on that and give us whatever information you want. Okay, I have noted the number of people who put their emails in the chat. We are going to pick those up and include them in our list to send you the presentations. I'd also like to request that please complete the evaluation form that is sent immediately after today's training so that we get your inputs for a better training, a better webinars coming ahead. Okay, so our toll-free line has been put in the webinar. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is our last training for this set of trainings that we've been having. We've run about 6 of them. And if you took note, we started with a very general training sometime in September. Then we went into trainings on service exports. Now we've been handling a mix of them, but they are on specific areas that were in the assessments that we were, because that assessment gives us a basis of some of what you need. It may not be all, but it's a good start for us. So tomorrow we'll have something on digital marketing, and because of the need that has continuously grown of many of our companies, especially the small ones, wanting to sell their products online, we have a specific training on digital marketing tomorrow. So please, I encourage you to be part of the training and hear from the experts in that line. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for being consistent and keeping time to be part of this. We request that you continue the same spirit and let's be able to grow in our export business. With that, I'd like to close today's webinar. Thank you very much and have a nice afternoon.